when I was growing up, when I was first discovering music when I was a kid, I mean, part of the way you would find out about new music was to go to your friendly local record dealer, and very often you would go in there and you would ask him, I don't know, I want the new Rush album or whatever, and they would very often recommend you stuff. They would say, you know, if you like this, you should check out that. And I think that's something and that's how you would discover music, and I think that's something that's kind of lost in the modern era where you just buy online. They have these things like people who bought this also bought that and all that stuff, which is an attempt to kind of you know, create that same kind of connection, but it's never the same. The personal touch is so important, and it's completely lost now. It's such a shame. I mean, there are still some great independent stores out where you can find out about new music in that way from people who are really passionate about music, not just a computer system that's drawn a connection between, you know, that's just not the same.
Yeah.
Well, for me personally, those kind of record stores, the more kind of independent stores, the more specialist area, they're really the kind of stores that encourage people to be more curious about music. If you go to a record store, you know, a big record store chain, usually they're just trying to push Coldplay, Britney Spears, but that doesn't encourage the sense of curiosity about music. When you go to the independent stores, you see all these things you've never heard of. So what the hell's that, you know? And I think it kind of it's something that actually is a good lesson for life in a way, because it encourages people to be more curious and to look beyond the surface of what's immediately marketed to them by major record companies, major movie studios. So for me, it's all about people who are curious, and curiosity is such an underrated human attribute. I think if people were more curious about the world, about what they're told, about what they're told to buy, then the world would be a lot more interesting place. Well, I grew up in a place called Hemel Hempstead, which is just outside London in England, and we had a record store called Old Town Records, and the guy there was a massive fan of progressive rock. So I used to spend a lot of time there, and a lot of the music I love, of course, a lot of the music I was brought up on was progressive rock, and a lot of it came from hanging out in this store. And exactly what I was saying, you know, you'd go in there to buy the new album by, I don't know, Marillion or something, and he'd be saying, "No, you should listen to this instead. This is much better." So for me, the memories are really, my first memories of buying records were spending hours and hours browsing in this record store. And of course, also me and my friends, because we lived quite close to London, we used to go on so it was a big thing to go to London. It was like 20 minutes away. Big trip to London, and we would go up to like Virgin Megastore and stuff in Oxford Street in London, and there it would be like being in heaven. It'd be like you died and gone to heaven, because they had everything, you know, and you didn't have enough money to buy everything you wanted, but you certainly had a lot of fun looking and browsing and just checking out all the covers. Two albums I've heard this year that I was really blown away with, and to be fair, as I get a bit more cynical as I get older, it gets harder and harder to blow me away with new music. There's two albums this year I've picked up that I think are amazing records. One is the new Mars Volta album called Octahedron, which is completely different to almost any record they've made before. I found the last couple of records they made quite hard to listen to, almost too in your face. But the new record is very mellow, very chilled out, very spacey, absolutely beautiful record. So I love that record, the Mars Volta Octahedron, and the new record by the doom metal band called Sun O. They've made a record now where they've taken their style and their sound of really slow, down-tuned riffs, and they've got choirs and strings and orchestras and all sorts of other instrumentation, and they've really opened up the whole sound to other kind of musical elements and musical aspects. So Sun O's Monoliths and Dimensions and Mars Volta Octahedron, they're my two favourite albums this year so far. I'd just like to say that I support Plattenladenwoche. For me, independent record stores are a gift from the gods. We don't want to lose them, so support them too. Bye for now.